Yes, okay, think logically, of course, with romantic relationships. But the other thing, guys, is bigger than all of this is you ask God, you invite him into the process. And you need to go open-handed and say, okay, God, I like this person. I have feelings for this person. I'm attracted to this person, God. I'm just going to go open-handedly with you and say, God, what do you want to say about this person? And you go open-handed and see what he says. And open-handed means that it's not like God has to say yes. Open-handed means like, God, you say and do whatever you want to say, and I'm going to agree with what you say. I'm going to be obedient. Obedience is key. And so if God says no, you listen, you be obedient. If God says wait, you just wait and don't do anything about it. If God says yes, then you ask some more questions. Okay, when, timing, etc., etc. Okay, and that's the next one. Okay, so we looked at logic. Okay, with the romantic attraction, when you have it towards someone, we looked, okay, definitely asking Jesus and inviting him in the process, guys. Number 3, a big one I really love is this thing of waiting. Okay, when you like someone, often this thing of being quick and the world mentality of get onto it, be in a dating relationship. If you're not in a dating relationship, you're broken, or this whole thing of like, even through high school, it's this whole thing of you have to be in a relationship. Guys, we're so young. Like, why do we pressure ourselves to think that we have to be in a dating relationship or we have to have this or that? We don't actually need it. Okay, if Jesus is meant to fulfill us and be the one that satisfies us and the one that, does all for us, why do we keep seeking romantic relationships to be the everything? It's because God isn't, we haven't made him everything to us. God needs to be first. God needs to be everything in our life, okay? And so this thing of waiting, number 3, guys, waiting is so key, okay? When you like someone, there's such an art in waiting, okay? Even just taking 3 months, all right? This is what I would say. You start liking someone, you're attracted to someone, all right, give it 3 months. See where it goes. Honestly, just for being friends with this person or just hanging out, and you're not seeing out, you're not pursuing them. You're not just gonna, asking them out for dates and coffees. Okay, I'm just saying, just observe them and be friends with this person, and be in groups. Okay, no one-on-one hanging out. Just be in a group context, because there's this ability when you're with a group context and you're just being friends, that you're able to observe them in a way that you won't be able to once you tell them that you like them and you start a dating relationship. There's this awesome time of just even taking a few months of just looking at them, observing them, and saying, okay, like, maybe this could be a person for me. And there's this art in waiting. And so, guys, this thing of waiting, please take it to heart. And just as soon as you like someone, don't just jump on it and be like, oh, I'm just gonna go ask them out because I have a feeling for them or like attraction to them. Guys, take time, take waiting. I've seen people that, they like someone, they ask them out, they start dating, then a month later they're like, yeah, I don't really like them anymore. And after, it was a month of dating, but yet there was damage probably involved of just hurting that other person. And there's all this other stuff that actually could have been, didn't have to happen if you just observed them for 3 months and were just friends with them. And you maybe could have figured that out without that. Anyways, big one. I love it. Please be people that wait. Don't jump into relationships, especially, guys, because relationships they're tender. They're vulnerable. They get to the core of us, and that's what causes a lot of pain in our lives is relationships. The number one pain in our lives has come from relationships, from our family members, from people around us, whatever else, guys. And so if we can minimize this whole area of romantic relationships or minimize the pain that we cause to one another, guys, that's godliness, okay? That's righteousness, integrity, and holiness. And that's who we're meant to be as Christians. We're meant to do it well, which means communicating well, which means not playing with people's hearts, which means being someone that takes care of one another. Guys and girls, take care of one another. Don't be foolish or flirting or being deceptive in any way, but doing it in great purity. And I know it just sounds like these big words like, oh, Leah, I can't actually be that way. But yes, you can. You have Jesus inside you. You're a Christian. You love God and you seek God, and just seek God on how to do it well. Okay, so, all right, we did logic. We've done, giving it to the Lord. Okay, looked at waiting. Another guys, a key process in this whole area of romantic relationships is talking to a leader or a mentor around you. Okay, number 4 is looking at a leader, a mentor, someone in your church, youth pastor, whatever it would be, and ask them about this person. Like, hey, I like this person. What do you think? And you don't have to do it right away, but just after a couple months, of waiting and observing the person, then you go talk to a mentor. Hey, what do you think about this person? What is your opinion on them? And there's great insight that other people can give you towards people that you may like, and that we need to hear, because often when you like someone, you have these like rose-colored glasses on, and it's like, this person's amazing and there's nothing ever wrong with this person, and you're like, okay, that's not true. obviously. But when you like someone, that's kind of all you see is they're amazing, I love them, I want to be with them. And you just kind of get this intensity that happens. Okay. But there's just such a key in actually, asking someone, getting people's opinions, and seeing what they think about the person, and what, what their thoughts are. Even if you have a good relationship with your parents, ask your parents. It's so honoring to include your parents in this process as well. And you might be thinking, Leah, this seems a bit dramatic. It seems a bit, a lot. But guys, the way that I look at romantic relationships, the way I look at a dating relationship, guys, it's not meant to be fickle. It's not meant to just be a casual thing. I am against casual dating. I am completely against casual dating. Okay. And I know there's, again, books out there and lots of different things from other pastors and people and Christians and whatever else, and they say, oh, it's okay to date someone on Monday and then try to date someone else on Friday and someone else on Tuesday, and just casual dating. You need to see who you like, right? Like, that's how it's supposed to work. I feel like that's very hurtful, and that could be very mean and harsh to a lot of people. I see that where people go on a date with someone on Monday, they go on a date with someone on Friday, and a date with someone on Tuesday. Well, and then they pick one person they like, but what about the other two people they were dating? How do they feel? What if they actually like that person? And there's just rejection involved, and hurt and pain. And that's where I'm like, this casual dating mentality where you just kind of have casual dates with people, guys, is not okay. I just don't see it as a good thing. You can get to know someone in a group context and just as friends, okay? But I feel this whole thing of casual dating, just going for coffees here and there and doing, whatever, I don't feel like that's very honoring to people. That's not very loving. I feel like we need to be people that live above reproach and are loving, and we don't do relationships the way the world does relationships. Do you know the world, the way they're doing relationships? It's horrible things that are happening out there. And I've heard so many horrible stories, and it's like, we need to do this better as Christians. We need to be the standard in the world, but we aren't. We're doing it exactly the same way as everyone else. And it's like, okay, we're meant to, why was everyone so attracted to Jesus? Because he was so different. He was so radical, but he was so loving and kind. So are we like that? Are we attracted like Jesus? We need to look like Jesus and how we do relationships, okay? And so we need to do it in righteousness and with this great standard. So with dating, guys, it's never meant to be casual, okay? When you pursue someone and you ask them out, it's especially for guys doing it, girls can do it as well. It's a bit different with girls, but for you guys out there that are going to pursue a girl, you need to do it with honor and respect. And you need to do it that you're saying, okay, I'm choosing this girl above other girls. This is why I'm pursuing you and I'm wanting to date you, because I'm choosing you above every other girl. It's not like I'm going to go on a date with you and then next week I'll try it with another girl and just see who I like better. Do you know how hurtful that is to those girls? So many girls that have been hurt and rejected and feel like they're worthless because guys just kind of treat them like this and that. And the same thing with girls. Girls, if you're, going out with one guy and the next week you're going out with another guy, girls, foolishness. Yeah. And just being casual the same way as a guy, like that the guys are doing, the girls are doing, everyone's doing it, but it's just so hurtful when there's, especially when there's cheating involved and other things that happen and hiddenness, guys. This isn't the way we're meant to be. Okay, we're meant to be doing relationships with excellence. We're meant to be doing relationships that are honoring and loving one another. So guys and girls, we need to do it better and not to be casual in our dating. So guys, when I think of dating relationship, I'm actually thinking of dating with intent. There's always got to be an intentional dating that's involved when you're seeking someone for a relationship. Okay, that's why I'm saying when you think logically, you give it to the Lord, okay? You're waiting, you're seeing, you're checking, looking at the person, observing them, and then you're asking, number 4, you're asking your mentors or your parents about it, okay? And then, okay, you're ready to, then after all that, you're like, okay, now I want to date them. It means, you're ready to ask them out, and there's a process that's been involved. So we'll say if you're going to go ask someone out and you've gone through this whole process and you go to them and say, hey, I've been praying about it, I've asked some people, I've all these things I've processed, I've been observing you for a couple months, you have this incredible platform when you go and ask that person out that's like, hey, like I've actually took time and intention and I feel like you're worth it and I want to actually start a relationship with you. And that person, if it's a girl saying it to a guy or a guy saying, mostly guys will say it to girls and ask them out, but there's such an honor when you do that, guys, or girls. There's such an honor when you say, hey, I've been processing it with the Lord and I've been seeing what's right and if this is a good thing to do. And then it's an incredible platform to start a relationship on. That's why I'm a big fan of this process, because it's not this casual, flippant, let's just see what happens, but it's intentional, guys. I really am a big fan of wholeheartedness. I'm a big fan of intentionality, and as we as young people doing romantic relationships and doing with great intent and with love and with honor, and not being sneaky and not being hidden, guys. Anything done that is hidden in darkness, and and that is kind of just sneaky, it's not godliness. We're meant to be people that have a standard of godliness and holiness in how we do relationships. And so yeah, so then from there, after a couple months and you feel like it's good and God's given you the go ahead and you have a word and you have talked to leaders and they all say, yeah, it's good, then go ahead, ask them out. Go and present it to them. Say, hey, I've been observing you and I like you. Would you pray about starting a dating relationship with me? And then that's when you give opportunity for that person to go away and pray, and then they ask the Lord themselves or whatever, and then they come back, and if they have a yes, then you start a dating relationship, which means boyfriend and girlfriend. There's no one else, none of this dating other people involved, but you're intentionally in a dating relationship, and you both know what's happening. Okay, you're both very clear. We're in a dating relationship, and then you start your relationship on the front foot. That's been processed by the Lord, processed well with each other and with leaders, and it's covered well. So that's my process with a dating relationship, of just even how to get into it. And I'll do another session on during dating relationship and what it should look like. But just this, just where I see, guys, where we need to just shift how we do things and do things in righteousness and holiness, especially the process leading up to a dating relationship. Just quickly, my story, which was huge, which was from, a lot of this teaching comes from that, is my husband. He liked me, and he waited 10 months before he even asked me out. And he just waited, and he processed, and he prayed, and he sought the Lord, and just sought God all the way until the day of when he asked me out. And he waited until God gave him the release. 10 months, guys, until my husband asked me out. And then the day he asked me out, it was just incredibly perfect timing, because the Lord was already preparing me that week for what was to come. And so when Adam, my husband, asked me out, and he asked me to start a dating relationship with me, I was already in this place of preparation of like, wow, I didn't know it was coming from him, but it was the Lord was already showing me, preparing me. And I was like, okay, yeah, like this is good and this is right. And God spoke so clearly. And it's just an incredible process that we've had, that even that lead up, that I found out that Adam was like me for so long and waited and was patient. It brought such security in my life that when I started dating him, like, wow, you actually like me and you're pursuing me, and I'm not just some casual girl that you just wanted to date. It was like this intentional, hey, let's start this and let's see what happens. And so for me, like, it brought just such a level of righteousness in how we started our relationship on a good foundation. And I feel like that's where God is leading us and needing us as a generation to be people that have intentionality, people that seek the Lord and involve God in our relationships, and just to do it well and not to be lazy, and to be wholehearted and people of integrity in how we start relationships.